Well, I had to stop it and start it again. So we'll see if this works now. All right, I think we're back in action, buddy. Oh, you know what? I hadn't even considered. I stopped, started again because it was being dumb. I hadn't even considered that the screen recording, the resources that it's taken up, kind of thing. Anyway, there's that. So here we are. Wow. So these are my photos. I took 794 photos, and Melissa looks like she took 169. This was Randy Rogers' band with Dylan Wheeler the week before Ty Myers at Backyard Bar Stage and Grill, beautiful downtown Waco, Texas. Let's see, is there a date on that? Looks like 25. Does that say 11/25? Well, that's just not right, is it? It's probably supposed to be like 04/25. Bet it's what it's supposed to be. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I usually kind of hit this a couple of ways. I just put it up here on the big thing usually. And all I'm doing is getting rid of, I've got 963 photos, and I'll go through this just as fast as I possibly can. And I'll just start getting rid of shots that just, there's nothing I'm interested in seeing. Look, this is before the show started. So we go, oh, I've heard people say, well, this should be where you're setting up at, and this is where you should be determining all these things. Yeah, maybe. Whenever I get it down to, something manageable, and that's kind of what we was doing here, is we was just sort of trying to get set up and get ready for the show. Here's where we started. Man, do we really need to zoom in that much? Yeah, I think that's fine. So this was Dylan Wheeler. Let's just do this so I can kind of see this a little bit. Killer lights. I do dig the lights. Notice I skipped that one. I just didn't reject it, is all. I haven't picked it either, but it doesn't look so much different than the rest of these, right? So whenever you see, you start looking at all these down here, it doesn't look too much different. I'm not too sure it's really great focus. Man, I remember Dylan Wheeler a couple of years ago at the Backyard. He played inside, and before he sort of took off, and I think he's had a kid since then. He may or may not have gotten married. It's funny, there's so many of these artists I've met over the years that, it's not that, you just kind of lose touch with some of these guys, because they're out living life. And this isn't the only thing I do. At the time, this wasn't the only thing I did then. Here's Dylan. So we kind of had the same setup here as we did for Ty Myers, except here, there's a little bit more room down in the pit right here, and that was good. It was about as wide down the middle aisle, I believe. I don't think that part was really too much different. Remember the first time I started talking? There's a little bit extra room here, kind of like. His media guy was pretty cool. Down to earth. In real life, I'm sitting here looking at a crowd mic, trying to figure out what is this. It's just Dylan just walking out on the stage. There's really just nothing exciting going on here. Oh man, he has calmed down a whole lot. I think he used to raise a little bit of hell. He may still raise some hell, but I believe he's gotten much more serious about his craft. I like that pretty good. I think that's a cool shot with the light coming in there from behind him, and he just sort of he pulls up on there, man. And I've watched this kid a few times. It's been a couple of years since I've seen him, but um, the one thing I do recognize from the last times I've shot him is the one thing that hasn't changed. He pulled up on the microphone and he just straight went spitting game, y'all. And he's in it, you know. I see you looking at me, man. Calm down. Uh-oh. He's like, don't look at me. I'm not, man. There he goes. This dude's straight fire. It's pretty cool. Anyway, Dylan did just exactly kind of what I remembered of him. Yeah, I didn't mean to pass that one. And man, he just walked. Oh, check out bass player kid. That is I like that. That's a cool shot. We're keeping that. I don't like that one. It's a little bit out of focus. I know I'm supposed to be blowing through these things a bit quicker. His guitar player was really, really good. He's got a lead and a rhythm guitar, I believe, and the bass player. Just really, really good. Dylan broke loose with Broke Ass Kid a few years ago. I think that's still his Broke Ass Kid logo. It is. I still got your shirt, Dylan. Look at you all growed up and shit. It's pretty cool. Wasn't a whole lot of people there right away. It's definitely a little bit of a difference in the crowd. Waco, man. Sometimes Waco don't show up, and you know, and I hear people talk smack about that. Oh, Waco. You know, you get one crowd that says, you know, Waco is just, you know, the greatest city in the world for, you know, supporting music, and you know, that's one side of the fence talking about Waco. You know, Waco's all about the music and everything. And then there's a whole other side of the fence that will tell you that while Waco does have, but a lot of people don't know it, but a lot of your favorite artists, their people on their team, their musicians, may or may not live in Waco. It's there's a lot of people live here, and that are musicians. David, I think David Zacek was he had a big involvement. There's, you know, MCC has some big things going on with music out there that really involves you know, some of the bigger artists and that kind of stuff that are, you know, I'll come back to that because I realize I'll start stories and I won't finish telling y'all. I wanted to see that outside of that. See the lights right here? Okay, I'm keeping that one. But, you know, Texas had this thing, you know, where they somehow or another, a city becomes, you know what, nobody really knows what the hell it is. Maybe there's a small circle that does, but I think that the people that you would think that, you know, that it would matter to, you know, saying that, you know, your city is a music city. I think Lubbock's one of those towns. You know, and if Lubbock's one of those towns, you know, I'd attribute that probably to Blue Light and whatever that college is up there. You know, there's a lot of big name artists in the Texas music genre, if you will. All right, we're going to move right on through because some of these just kind of start looking the damn same to me. All right, maybe I blew through that too fast. Come on. Back up, sunshine. Yeah, maybe not. Let's see where we go here. Oh, look. Yeah. Good decision. Good decision. Bass player, what are you doing back here, man? Anyway, I think, being a music town or whatever, that it was a movement a couple of years ago that, several cities hit. And honestly, I don't really know who it supported. I'm not saying it didn't support anybody. I'm just telling you that I don't think anybody really knows who it supported. I know a lot of local artists around here, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be somehow or another, helping local artists. And I'm not sure how that is, but I think what it represents is a really, really small circle of people somehow. I don't know. Just don't one of those things, not really seen a big benefit in it. And I'm not saying there wasn't, but just from being around these folks all the time, pretty regular, people you would think be making kind of a little bit more out of it. There it goes. That boy's in it. You would think there'd be just a little bit more I don't know, awareness. People wouldn't seem like they would have. I don't know. Anyway, that's that. I don't. It's one of those things that it just seems kind of weird to me. This dude was straight shredding, and I was really trying to get that, and I missed it. But whenever he was in it, he was in it. So, the difference here and what I did with Ty Myers is, man, I'm just showing you. Here's the shots we got, right? What are we keeping? So I got to make a quick decision on this. I like that. That's good. I like that. Also like that. I'm keeping both of them. Oh, that one ditched that one. That one's ditching. Man, it's a great shot, right? Oh, we're definitely keeping that. Not that one. I like that too. A little bit out of, maybe. No, we got it. We're telling that one. These guys go pretty hard. It's a big deal. I remember he was breaking. Seems like he was breaking. Dylan was breaking 18, 19. Was he like a year or two after Co? Maybe. I think Co broke in 17. Maybe he broke right after that. I don't know. I don't really remember it. It's so I'm an older guy, and I had an opportunity one time to go out on the road with the Hoosier brothers, and man, it was a great opportunity, but I wasn't the right person for it, and what really sucked is I didn't even know it at the time. I didn't even know I wasn't the right person for it. And for what they needed and what I thought I should have or what I should deserve, man, I like that a little bit. I like that one too. That's one we're going to keep. Some of these guys that go out on the road, I remember, seemed like Trevor. Trevor was one of the ones. Trevor was out with, he went out with Hoosier. He went out with Taylor Branch, and man, he was cutting his teeth on those guys, and that's what they needed. And it was the same thing with me, but from a photography standpoint, and that was great as long as they were right here local. I didn't have to go very far. I didn't have to go out of my comfort zone, did I? to, to go shoot those guys. And it gave them what they needed. It gave them, some media presence, and it gave me what I needed, which was some chops. I don't think we give enough credit to people having chops. And where do you get them? Well, you get them by busting your ass. You get them by going out. Sometimes you do some shit for free sometimes. And we did. Anyway, man, it worked out exactly how it was supposed to. Hoosiers, man, they're still freaking awesome. They broke this song. They did a hometown show before all this. I don't really have any pictures from that because we shot, man. Oh, that's right. We shot a ton of video that night for those guys. Somehow, third party. I'm not even sure how it even worked out. It's just some people said, "Hey, you want to do this?" And we said, "Yeah, sure." Something like that. It was a big deal. They was playing at home. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I'm in focus right here or not. Man, it's okay. Maybe. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. No, I like that better. He's got the stand. You know what I mean? He's playing the heck out of it. I got a bunch of that. Unless I just see something, I may keep that. So I just see something. What is that song? Lay You Down? Oh my good googly moogly. That is so Hoosier Brothers are I guess you'd say they're like Texas country. They follow and it's crazy. I've heard a lot of new music come out recently, and whenever I hear it doesn't sound like, to me, it sounds like other people. How do you say it? So to me, Hoosier Brothers have this whole sound that is theirs. Man, that is, it's just their sound. Josh kind of has a bluesy, gospel kind of voice, man. Golly. And he broke that thing out and got all sexy with it on that last song. But just, they play a lot of the circles, or at least they have been playing a lot of circles in the Texas country music lineup, and that's one of the cool things about Red Dirt is kind of how it sort of supports all those things. And anyway, but their sound, it just, I don't really like that. I'm just looking down the line at all these other ones I've got. But their sound it's just a little bit different. And so that's a sound that I've heard since I've known them. That is their sound. And now it's almost like the world is catching up and everybody's catching on to these other people that to me sound like them. They don't sound like these other people. These other people to me kind of sound like them, but it's just still, it's different. I just wish I could explain it. If that last song, Lay You Down, if that's any kind of indicator of sort of what's coming up from those guys, then they're going to be gone. We say gone, they're going to take off. They're going to be rock stars, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. It's watching this guy too. In Texas, so he's the primer, the warm up act. He's the opener. I don't know what people understand that to be. In most places, Dylan Wheeler would be the main attraction, and this particular case, man, I just like his guitar. Sorry, I see. I'm just looking at all the detail on his guitar. You know, it's just, you can see where it's just worn and played. I like that. Let's see that. One I kind of like. I like that, but we're just gonna pick it and just move on from it. I think I've got enough of that stuff. But he is opening for Randy Rogers' band, and man, it doesn't matter to me what circle you in. I mean, if you're playing Texas music and if you're on the bill with Randy Rogers' band, where the lights behind that just make that look good as hell, don't it? And you're playing, you're going to play a show with Randy Rogers' band. The first thing you got to know is people are showing up. And if you want to get your name in front of somebody, that's where you go. I don't think Dylan Wheeler needs that. I just think Dylan Wheeler's a good pick to open up for Randy Rogers' band. All right, so here's where the set changes go. I remember this show they were working with some section ideas. Seemed like there was, I don't remember what it was. You got the front row, and so we call that panty row. So you got everybody that's there on panty row, and they had like one section type VIP, then another section VIP, then they had GA, or general admission, or we call it Gen Pop. I say we, having shot, a lot of festivals in the past and stuff, I love shooting festivals. Those are super fun. But the people that are in general admission, we tend to call those people, it's Gen Pop, general population, if you will. So whatever. Oh, these are Melissa's. Of course, she's going to be the one that's going to come in with the bangers. Golly, she does this every time, don't she? These are mine. Not so great. Whatever. Anyway, I just remember them playing with that, and it sort of, it was kind of, it was really good for me because it made getting some of the shots I wanted really easy, because it was real crowded in the front, and there was like this little middle section, really wasn't hardly anybody there, and then you got this one section, there's nobody there, then you back out in Gen Pop, which is kind of funny. Here goes Melissa with another banger. So when you start getting really good ones like that, you go, well, how do you decide? Well, you just gotta. Bass player was cool. Man, it's a great shot, but I don't like the rest of them. So this is kind of what you find yourself sort of overcoming whenever you're going through. They're not terrible shots. I have to pay attention because sometimes I'll start moving faster. All right, so it's hung. I'll start moving faster than it's willing to move, because it's old Mac. It's doing its deal. So I like it whenever they become rock stars like that. But there's not a whole lot of light going on. All right, so we got to wait for that to kind of catch back up. Oh, I like that. Oh, please stop on that one. No, you're still going. Whichever one that one is, I kind of like it. Where's it going to stop at? 942 is the number. Okay, hopefully that'll be the last one. 942? Nope. 947. Can I find 942 here? Yep, we're keeping that one. Set it to unflagged. Yeah, let's see. So where we're at here. Is this where we're at? Certainly. Yeah, just kind of got to get moving back through here. Again, this is just the pictures that are going down on the thing right there. Okay, I remember whenever I was doing time irons, I started this story. I just remember this. I started telling a story about shooting a guy named Austin. I couldn't remember his name. And the guy I was trying to think of was actually Austin Gillum. This has been several years ago. And the story that I was actually trying to tell was talking about how I crop some of these photos and just kind of how I think about it. And I think at the time I was telling a story about that somehow. So I'd taken this really, really great shot and I sent it into one of these, I don't know, it was a Facebook page or something, rate my photo or whatever. And some people did. They didn't like rip me apart. They were super nice. All right, so I would keep this. It's a great shot, right? But he's tuning in the background. Do you really want to see him tuning? I don't. Can I take him out? Sure. Let's see. There we go. I knew he'd come along with it. There we go. Still banger shots. Anyway, so I was just so now whenever I look at photos like that, whenever I take photos of the artists, whenever they're in the throes with their guitar, unless I'm like dialed in to keep that. Oh, we're definitely keeping that. Unless I'm like dialed in super close, like I don't know, like sometimes I'll like this guy right here and him. These guys shred, and if they'll get close enough to the edge of the stage, I'll get right up there with the wide angle, and I bet that'll look good black and white. And I like that too. But other than that, I always try to get the full instrument, in the shot. So I got these backed out, and kind of what I'm looking for here when I'm going through these. I like how the crowd is lit up right here. I like how these are coming out. The light beams are coming out. I like all that kind of stuff. And just looking for those ones like that. So like this, there's going to be no information in this. If I try to develop this any and try to raise it up, it's just going to be really, really look like garbage. But there's nothing dramatic going on here. There's not really a lot of reason to spend a lot. Stage looks good there. Looks good there. I like that. Kind of move those around. That's all right. It's Melissa again. It's decent. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Man, I like the way Sony does blues. We'll keep that. Oh, I like that. So anyway, that's all that I remember telling that story yesterday, and I didn't finish it. Another one I started to tell is our family was there off to the side, and I was talking about Palmer Anthony, who was the opener for Ty, and I went off on this tangent because I just got to thinking about Jeremy playing golf and everything, and Caddyshack and all that stuff. So anyway, one of the things that I can recall the most about watching him and just kind of thinking about it was Jeremy and Wendy and them telling me, pointing his dad out, Palmer Anthony's dad. And Jeremy and Wendy got a chance to talk to him, and he's talking about, this really, really nice guy. You can tell he's super proud of his son. Just kind of the impression, I got, and I thought it was kind of cool. I thought about that the whole time I was editing that. Oh man, we're just a little bit out of focus right there. Let's see, let's change the information. Okay, so hit I on the keyboard while you're editing. It'll change the information up here. And so, again, like with Time Irish, she's shooting some video here, but she was also taking pictures. And she's got the long lens on there, and she's shooting wide open. She's at 1/60 because when she's shooting video, she's shooting 30 frames. But it's just a little bit of movement. So, we're just going to nix it out. Keep on going. Keep swinging. Keep swinging. Keep swinging. I hope he's doing good. Wes Waller. I got the opportunity to so I work with it's funny, I say work and I say work loosely, but I work with Russell Clay and got so Russell Clay, Red Sea TV, now Waco Wood. I'm hesitant to kind of say, I guess I don't want to sound like a name dropper or whatever, but Russ is one of the owners at the backyard. There's Miss Molly. And you don't never really see Russ. Russ is the guy in the background that's she's trying not to crack up because I'm sitting there messing with her. And what? So before the backyard was a thing, Chris and Russ started Red Sea TV, and they had a series that was on TV at night called Cowboy and Lucky. Just go look it up. It's on YouTube. I think it's either in Red Sea or Waco Wood, but it's in the playlist. You can find Cowboy and Lucky. I think it's kind of funny, sort of clever, low budget, really, really fun. Man, they put so much into that. People don't even know how much heart and time and just dedication. I'm talking about a full-on production, man. And this is really, really cool to be a part of some semblance of that now. I think it's kind of neat. And it's so I digress. I work with Russ as cameraman slash photography director, making films. And golly, we have so much fun. I don't really know where I was going with that. Where was I going with that? I don't know. I wish that was in focus. But before the backyard was that they was doing that, and so golly, I forgot what I was even talking about with that. I guess it does just seem like I was sort of name dropping. I wasn't trying to just be like name dropping, like, ooh, look at me. I know some important people. I mean, it's totally true. I do. But it wasn't like that. It's just really cool to get to be a part of a lot of this stuff. So, you learn a lot of these different things to do and how to do them. Girl, I like that, but they tuning. Everybody tuning. They're not on that one. We're going to keep it. I'm going to keep that one too. Maybe. And I'm looking at the bottom and moving right on through them. Oh, that's super bright. Wonder what that looks like whenever I pull it all down. That dude was slaying. Just slaying. That's cool looking. So is that. I like that. It's all right. Maybe. Enough of that. Enough of that. Kind of the same shot. Same shot. Oh, look. There I are. Let's see what she get right there. Man, I think we'll keep it. That's cool. Oh, I don't. So here's I don't. So Dylan plays his guitar. It hangs real low, which is kind of weird to some people, I guess. But I think it's a cool look, and at the same time, I know several artists that do that. I know I'm dumping a lot of photos, right? Oh, that's kind of cool looking. My wife coming in clutch with these bangers. This is kind of a neat thing to do. You can get that in, you can get it in focus. I like that when you can see that, and it tells kind of the whole story. Broke ass kid. Pretty cool whenever that come out. Crow Man. So this guy's he is local local radio talent, whatever you call it. I don't even know if they're DJs anymore, but that's what everybody knows them as, is DJs. Man, I don't even think, once upon a time, it was Shooter FM. It was 92.9 Shooter FM. I don't think they're 92.9 anymore. I think. Pretty sure their office still has photos I took in there. I'm not sure who the girl was. I don't feel like everything they did, Crowman could have done all by himself. Yeah. However that works, it's, there's a little bit of, you gotta keep in mind. I mean, there's promotions and there's a little bit of theater that comes on it. Get old Brady Black. Okay. All right, so we switch. So now we're heading into Randy Rogers Band. I wish I could tell you I had some crazy stories with Randy Rogers Band. You'll have to go over to Gallywinter and get with. You'll have to go find Gallywinter and get with Behealer if you want crazy Randy Rogers stories. The craziest Randy Rogers story I probably have, I will tell you in a minute. All right, so here's the thing with Brady. For me, I guess, is I've shot him more times than he knows, I'm sure, and that's nature of the beast, kind of how it works. So concert photographers, oh, I nailed it. Look, I got it. Holy shit, I can't believe it. I got it. He's in focus. Okay, so look, whenever I'm shooting at an angle, all of this, his fiddle, everything, all right, it is in my direct line of sight for where I want to focus. So having to get him focused in right there and being on, should we play this battle with microphones? Half the photos that I've ditched through here out of focus because it locked onto the microphone and it didn't lock onto the person's face. And Steve always says, go for the eyes, go for the eyes. He's not talking about a cat fight, y'all. He's talking about focus on the eyes. If you screw everything else up, if you're on the eyes, 9 times out of 10, that's going to just tell a completely different story. There he is. Big old smile. Man, probably some of the most humble guys you'll ever meet, and amazingly talented. They have a formula, y'all. Randy Rogers Band is a songwriting machine. They have a formula. They put out hit after hit after hit, and you can't deny it. I won't deny it. Wait, what is that song? Anyway, They are consistent. They are, I see you, buddy. See you seeing me. They are consistent. My name is Mud. They are consistent. You know, every show is going to be a good show. There's not a bad Randy Rogers. There's never a bad Randy Rogers show. All right, here's one. Oh, look at that nice crispy microphone right there. Randy, I understand, sir, that it's the Randy Rogers band. But listen, let's talk about this for a second. Really, man, we're only interested in getting the microphone, Randy. We're not interested in getting you. Sorry, just me being. That's not true. I really would like to have Randy be in focus and not the microphone. But here we are, and I don't. Nope. So the best Randy Rogers band story, and it's not even a band story, it's just a Randy Rogers story, and it's not even, it may even be a little weird. I don't know. It's okay. It's my story. Get your own story if you don't like it. We was down in New Braunfels. Randy's lost a couple of pounds. We was down in New Braunfels for River Jam. Maybe it was River Jam. I think we was down there for River Jam. And down at Lone Star Float House, I'm going to tell you what, you ain't had a hamburger till you've had a hamburger from the Lone Star Float House. Good googly moogly. Mm-hmm. And anyway, just sitting down there, just having the time of our lives, you know, hanging out down in the river below the float house. Look to my right. Who do you see? I don't know. 15 feet away, there's Randy and his family. No big deal. Listen, you may not even know who Randy Rogers is, but he's kind of a big deal. So, you know what I did? Absolutely nothing. I didn't bother him. Listen, I'm funny about forced friendships. And I guess I try to take a professional position on some of these things, and you know, if something happens and our paths were to cross somehow outside of me doing a job, and we hit it off, became friends, that'd be dandy, right? But you know, aside from that. And I see it from time to time, you know, people push in, hey, insert artist name here. I took your picture, so now let's be best friends in the whole wide world. Man, and these people, these artists are generally so nice. And I have stood back and just kind of people watch before, and I've seen just so many artists just smile and say, "Hi, how are you?" And they've got a pretty good circle of friends. I'll tell you that. You know, Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen is pretty good friends. You know, I was talking about Lubbock earlier. You know, Wade Bowen, I think he's a product of that Lubbock crowd, but he is from Waco also. And, you know, I tell you, man, his family does a lot of stuff in Waco. These are pretty clean shots, the ones that are hitting. Yeah, really good. I think Randy's lost some weight. Somebody said he may have, I don't want to say stop drinking, because that's why would you do that? But he looks good. He looks real good. Looks healthy. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't look healthy, right? But anyway, yeah. All right, so I will tell you this. This guy played the hell out of a guitar, and you would never even know it. Well, not a banger. Not a banger. Not a banger. So, kind of broke my rule here a little bit. You know, you see, some of these, I talked earlier about, the guitar neck and everything. And so it kind of, we're like, give up a really good shot and not have the whole guitar in there. Yeah, I'll keep that because, he turns and looks, oh, there's, he knows what to do, man. These guys are pros. Let's get a good shot. We're having a good time. I get the shot. The crowd's into it. And that's a really cool thing. Whenever, you got the crowd vibing with you, it makes for a great show. But we're just going to try to find one that don't look like the rest of them. Yeah, there it goes. Man, not that. Randy stepped to the side and kept playing. Total pros. Trying to think. No, I don't really know any other stories about Randy. I've been in the room when he's interviewed and stuff like that. Man, these colors look really good. It's just super smooth. Oh, that's a great shot. Look, okay, so now the ISO's 2000. I'm shooting 320 f3.2, so I'm actually just a bump over wide open. So you just see how the difference is compared to it having 12,000 ISO. Have a little bit more noise, but the light's really good, so it metered well. The lights are good enough. I could probably, oh look, I caught it right there. We're keeping that one. The lights are so good. I could probably set my ISO manual and all that stuff, and and there's a ton of people that say, oh, you should be shooting manual anyway. You have so much more control. And they are 100% right. And whenever they shoot, that's exactly what they can do. I just, I think about it. I know what it's doing in camera, and what it can do in camera is probably as good, if not better. I don't miss near as many shots shooting the way I do. And I don't mind that. And I know there are people that will fight you, other photographers that will fight you tooth and nail. You got to shoot manual. No, man, you don't. And don't ever let anybody tell you that. If you're watching this and you're still listening to me babble on about any of this, anybody ever tells you have to shoot some certain way, I would challenge you to never listen to what that person has to say too much again, because I just wouldn't take a lot of stock in it. And I've kind of been one of those people that's sort of given crappy advice like that. You got to shoot like this and you got to shoot like that. No, hell you don't. You find what works and you find what works good for you. And that's all there is. That's all you got to do. I'm not too mad about doing this. I'm coming up with a wide and getting the whole shot in there. Clearly I switched lenses, got the big wide, trying not to fight with all the other stuff, but it may not be a good shot to have. Just don't, maybe, it looks too much like the other ones. I'd rather have it big from the back. Talked to my friend Jen Allen for just a second the other day. So, all right. So I'm thinking about Jen Allen because we seen the radio guy earlier, Crowman. So it was Crowman and Jim Nash. I think Jim Nash took on a gig somewhere else, and now it's Crowman, and I don't know what else on the radio. I think he's still at the same thing. And you see how bright those lights are. Oh, there's the boss. And it was kind of windy that night, but they were working some of the drone stuff out for the show the next week. What the hell was I saying? Done lost it already. See, you got me. I'm trying to talk about this and that. And who was I just talking about? Sorry, boss. Just not enough light. Just two of the most amazing people anybody could ever have the privilege of knowing. Chris and Brooks Cox. Just good humans. I forgot what the heck I was just fixing to start rambling on about. I may have been starting another story and can't remember what it was. Oh well. If I go back and listen, we will see. Where are we at? We at 866 of 963. So what, we got like 100 of them left? Those are kind of cool shots like that with Randy. All right, here comes the iconic Randy move. There it is. He's pointing out. Are we in focus? We're going to ride with it. I love it. Got it. Got enough, Brady. Ooh, looks like I scared you. Okay. Wonder what that was about. Huh. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different crowd. A little bit of a different crowd. It wasn't a crowd that it needed to be. It's funny. So I talked earlier about Waco being... All right, so I need to go back and look at these because I was looking. I got a chance. I asked the guy if I could have this shot because the Alico's in the background. And let's see how that do. It looks like right off the bat, not well. Yeah. Oh, that's not bad. Got it. I like it. Let's keep that one. Yep. I hear a dog. Oh, my boy Pete's over there napping. Let's see. Let's open this back up. And I do the fiddle thing. I got the shot I wanted. Yeah, so people not showing up is kind of a... It's kind of a... I guess it's a point of contention because you get this whole group of people in town that's, and like, oh, there's never anything to do here. There is nothing to do in Waco. Man. And I find that to be absolute, complete bullshit. There's a lot to do here. And maybe Waco is a little bit spoiled. Because there is, a good bit to do, but it may not just be what you want to do. People want, a lot of these big shows and everything, and like with Randy Rogers and stuff. When you get them, Waco don't show up and Waco don't show out. It's just that's the facts, Jack. It's still fun. it's still kind of neat to be able to get in there and see all that stuff. But there's no glamour in any of it. Maybe a little. Okay, there's a lot. We get to meet and see a lot of really cool people. But at the same time, I was saying earlier, I don't really push myself on people. Force friendships, that kind of thing. That one's all right. I like it. Because that's sort of what it is. It's kind of, I see people. Once upon a time, everybody wanted to get on somebody's bus, and a lot of these artists are really cool about it. Sure, you come on the bus, and they'll do these things, and at the same time, I think people fail to realize this is where these guys live a lot of times. Is on that bus. That is their home. And a lot of people don't like to have their privacy invaded. What do you think, Keeper? Maybe. We'll come back to it and see. Oh, that looks good. So does that. Not that one. He's got his back turned. The lights look really, really good. Are we there? We are there. Let's see what we got. All right. Here, let's turn on the filters. I don't want picked. I want unpicked. So I got 154 unpicked. All right. So here is where I will go back through. All right, so everything's unpicked now, and I will start going through and start picking. So I've got 145 preset show. I'd probably like to see this be down to like 80 or 90 maybe. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so here's my reason. I think lights look good and everything. It's probably an okay shot. I'm not going to keep it. And the reason I'm not going to keep it is because the crowd. Plain and simple. It's because of the crowd. I'll keep that. Definitely keeping that. Keeping that. Nope. 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 Again, crowd. You know what I mean. Let's keep it. Let's keep that one. Crowd. My whole reason. If I don't like the crowd, I won't pick the photo. Not particularly. I'm okay with that one. Really good with that one. Maybe. Okay, so I'm always thinking about how would the artist, how would the artist feel about that shot? I think it captures a lot of emotion, but I don't know how he would feel about it. So I'll probably not pick that one. Definitely take that one. I think I like that one over that one. So these are ones that I wish I'd had that in focus more. Man, I remember these. I'm going to keep that one. That's a great shot. There's other ones of him. I've got better ones of him. Drummers, kind of hard to get sometimes. So whenever you get like a good little series of those, you keep them. That's a good one. I like that one all right. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. I went back and unpicked that. I don't like it. It looks a little boring. Same thing with that one. No. Let's see what the next one's like. That's what we're keeping. Good stuff. I like that one just because of the thing. Not crazy about that one. I got a big old Band-Aid on my... Oh, I'm keeping that one. And that one. Not that one so much. We're going to keep that. Not that. That. And that one. I'll probably unpick one of those. Man, that's a good shot. So are those. Nope, we're not keeping that. Not keeping that. I like that. Not that. Definitely that. Nope. 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 The culling process is probably the hardest part of all this, and I can't imagine somebody'd want to actually watch all this for the culling. But I could, well, it sounds like it'd be a really good name for for a title. The culling of Dylan Wheeler. The culling of Dylan Wheeler. I'm sure I'll come up with some crazy, goofy, I don't know, YouTube title. I like that one better than Molly. Man, they weren't that expensive. Why are you being dramatic? I'm not. I'm just playing. That's what's going on in the background. I like the highlights there. So I'll talk about that. I'll keep those, and we'll talk about that more whenever I get to the editing process. That's whenever it won't be boring. This part just stinks. It's just kind of slow and just cumbersome, and it just kind of goes through. I think I want to keep that because I want to see what it looked like with the thing. He's doing the slide. Another great one. Geez, that is good. So is that. Yeah, maybe. No, we're keeping that one. I can see one of the other ones probably not going to. That's cool. Again, not sure who she is. Who Crowman is. All right, is this the one in focus or out of focus? Oh, yeah, we're keeping that. Same thing with that. Same thing with that. Nope. Nope. Yep. Yep. Nope. Yep. Look, this is just how it works, y'all. I wish I could tell you it was something different, but a lot of these are not bad shots. They're just, it's the same shot. That's all. And it's kind of waiting them out. I like that. Not that one so much. I like it whenever Randy's smiling. Definitely that one, him throwing the pick out there. Geez, man, Pat Green. This was several years ago. We still lived in Georgia. And so I'm bringing this up because the pick's being thrown out the stage. Melissa and I went and seen Pat Green. I don't know. It was a few years ago, and it was at the Bowler House or something in Rome, Georgia. And we were about, 5 or 6 people back from the stage. And Pat was throwing guitar picks out into the crowd. And he kept throwing them, and he kept throwing them, and he kept throwing them. And they kept hitting me in the arm. Okay, I should tell you, I was standing behind Melissa. So Melissa's like 5'3" or something, or 4 maybe. And I'm standing behind her. I'm like 6'1", and I've got my arms over her shoulders, sort of thing. And I kept getting hit with the picks. And Melissa may have had, a little bit of a lower cut shirt or something on there, and realized Pat is trying to hit her boobs. Yeah. It's funny. It really was kind of funny. Hey, there we go. So I'm down to 72. There it is. All right. I think it's a good time for a break. I'll just pause everything right here, and I'll come right back. Well, before we went and took a break, we culled through everything. We got her down from 963 to 72. I shoot burst. We'll go over to the develop panel. I kind of shoot burst, and I'm not afraid to hold it down, kind of thing. Move my text messages. All right, there's a thread going right now with Waco Wood. Looks like we're shooting again next weekend for something. All right, man. Dylan Wheeler and Randy Rogers is what we're editing. I could probably do this a lot quicker and just, I haven't imported any of these and made any kind of smart previews or anything. I probably could, but it just means importing them. So I'm operating off a full size file. I can get it to click through. This thing's 5760 by 3840, and it's raw. So every one of these images is probably and these aren't even really big by a lot of standards. Every one of these images is about 30 megabytes in size, and give or take. And so I just leave them on the disk on the hard drive, and just use a solid state drive. So. So, as if you've watched anything so far, don't be traumatized. I usually start off somewhere with the auto button and just kind of see what I like, what I don't like. And I can just tell you now, I just don't like none of that because it's way too bright. But the other side of it is, if we look at the histogram, just most of our data that we want to use, most of that is in the shadows and the blacks. And it's all right. I'd like it if it was just a little bit less saturated, but it almost would rather it be warmer than light. Huh. Because I can see the red light that's there. So this right here in the background. So let's tighten this shot up just a little bit and bring him in. That's what I was looking for that to be, like that. So I'll just take this first photo, and we'll just that'll be sort of a general sort of starting point. Remember what I said, don't crush them highlights. You lose all your depth, man. That's a Canon one, so I think saturation's always a little bit tough with the Canon. And then I'll hit all these little things like here. And, I could probably go back over here to the library and just pick the picked ones in that folder, which are mine right there, right? So right here where we started. And then we can go right back over here to develop. I've done this before. I don't always think about it. So now we're looking at all the photos that I shot on the Canon. So if this first one was going to be any type of anything, what I'd really want to do is uncrop it before I paste the settings, right? Why? Because we fixing to paste all of them. Hit Command A, there it is, and sync them dudes out, all of it. And if you just kind of watch it on the bottom down here, you'll start seeing stuff happening to them. The advantage of that is keep talking about time kind of being, I'm not always super efficient whenever I do that. I want you to notice where I cropped at. And I kind of just pulled in there quick. I could do this a lot of different ways, but kind of the way I shot that. And I could actually get more over here and have more control over it. I kind of shot him that angle on purpose. Because I just thought it seemed a little more dramatic. And that's what I'm going to go with. So we'll pull that down some. Next, previous. Just see what we think. Kind of the same thing here. But the difference being here, I want all of it. There we go. There he is right there. And let's pull that up. Man, those highlights are banging right there. Do we need it all to be in the highlights? Can we use it in the whites without getting too out of line there? I like that okay. We'll warm that up some. I don't know, maybe a little bit less of that. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. You see, because I shoot usually these higher ISOs, I don't try to do a lot of sharpening and, I used to spend oh golly, I spent so much time. What happens if I do this? See, it tries to straighten it out. And I don't want it to do that yet. So Command Z. Yes, I said Z. I don't always say Z. I just thought of that just then. And I usually like to I'll darken out them edges just a little bit. All right. Moving on. That's a pretty decent shot. I just thought it was really, really cool with the colors and all. Maybe let's tighten it up some. See how we like it. Ooh, I smell bacon, y'all. I smell bacon. It's good too, because I'm hungry. We went yesterday down to my youngest son's new house. Well, we had a fine time. Met a lot of the people. He's in the Army, and met a lot of the people he works with. And it was nice hearing some nice things about your kid, especially that one, because he's kind of a shithead to begin with. Well, that's super bright. Let's see what happens if we clean that up a little bit. Or we're going to bring that out there like that. I think dude's got a big old head, don't he? Let's put a little light down on that. All right, so what's happening to it here? Let's look at what's happening here. So that's where we want to kind of be a little bit careful with some of the highlights and stuff. Let's pull that back down a little bit. I do remember it being a little bit darker. Oh, I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more light on the stage. Not sure how I feel about that one. I'm gonna let that one go. Bye. I feel any better about this one? Let's see if it does different. Should still get that same edit. Nope. Not really feeling it. I don't know. I'm not feeling that one either. And so much it's just so subjective how this works, and in my mood, and I was in a different mood yesterday, than what I'm in today, and it's just I think the biggest thing for me with doing photos of any kind, whether we did wedding or anything, I think the biggest thing that I've had to learn over the past several years is to not really care about what other people have to say or think or any of that stuff. You really just can't, because there was a few times where I did care way too much about what other people had to say or think about what I was doing or how I edited or how I shot, or heaven forbid what I shoot with. And look, I'd love to have a new Canon R6. Y'all, we probably could swing it, but hashtag priorities come on. I shoot a Canon 5D M3. All this right here is on my Canon 5D M3. I've got an older, Canon 80D. That's a pretty decent shot. I kind of like that. I like it. How's that going to change? Do I like that? I do like that. I really do like that. Oh. So I don't do this a lot either, what I'm fixing to do, because it's usually just for no other reason other than time. So a lot of people like to use their brush and everything else. And man, I'm a real big fan of linear gradients, especially for things just like this. I just want to take just a little bit of that light down here, right? I just want to darken it up a little bit. I don't want to make it unnatural, but if we can put just a little bit more emphasis, there we go. Completely different photo. Is it, I'm trying to remember what the key is for before and after. Oh, you know what? Before, I forgot. I can never remember. Oh, let's see. Before, after, where did I say it was? Let's see. It's in view. So we go to view. Before, after. Before only. Okay, I remember now. All right. It is the forward slash is backslash. That's where we started. What do you think? I like it. I dig it. Life's like a garden, man. You gotta dig it. I like vibrance more than I do saturation. I think that's probably more of a Canon thing than anything. Is kind of what has me that. I think sometimes it'll oversaturate. Oh man, I hope this is going to be as sick as I think it is. Oh, I bet this has the mask on it. It does. We're going to keep it. None the same. Do it with this one too. I think. No, I'm not. Let's make this one normal. I went back and I picked one that didn't have a mask on it. Or I could just go here and how do you get rid of it? How about that? Delete it. What? No, he didn't. Yes. Yes, I did. Look, because I've got a lot of information in my midtones and in my whites and even in my highlights. And look, I'm not crushing them. They're still good. And it's still a fabulous photo. And it just moves. It looks really, damn, I ain't changing that. How about this one? We're going to do anything with this one? Big Rock. I don't know what that dude's name is. I just named him Big Rock. You don't even know I did that, did you? I did it. I just changed him. Big Rock. He looks like a big rock to me. Straighten my homeboy up. Let's see here. Auto correct that. Constrain the crop. Diggity. Let's hit this one. Auto constrain the crop. Modigs. And previous. Oh yeah. Constrain the crop. Does that need to be a little bit warmer, maybe? How about this one? Does that need to be a little warmer as well? Yeah, I like it a little bit warmer. Very good, very good, very good. I like it, I like it, I like it. Good stuff. You see, so we went through the whole process a while ago whenever we was, I want this warmer too. Whenever we was calling them, it's just, you know, when you start looking at the same one, now it's a little bit more excitement whenever it starts kind of moving through, because now it's not just the same photo. There's a little bit more variation in it, and you just kind of start noticing that. And in the show, you're actually, oh, look at this one. But whenever you're looking at 10 or 15 of those, when you're looking at a whole bunch of those, you know, together, you know, because you just did this big burst shot. And just, dude, look at the drama in that. So I'm seriously interested in seeing what this looks like black and white. Let's get over here. You know, I talked about presets a little bit yesterday. So all these are these JW presets, medium form. These are film, like actual film – replications. Would you look at that? How would you feel if you seen that? If you seen that and never knew it started as that, does that just not seem like a bigger photo? I mean, it does to me. And I like that. We'll pull those highlights down a whole bunch. So that's kind of, let's pull the whites back. I want to be careful because I start losing him here, but I believe I can push the shadows open some and pull the blacks back. I don't want to completely crush them down. But look, so this is one of those times shooting 16,000 ISO just did something completely different, y'all. And look. Now let's pull that back. Oh, wow. You know, yeah, there it is. So look, it put all this information in here. We can spread this information back out. Look what it starts doing to the photo. So I kind of like having some of these highlights blown. Are they blown out? They're not. There's still information in them. How about that? I like that. I'd darken it up some more. I'll darken it just a little bit. Oh, you know what? How about this? Linear grading again. I want to just pull the guitar down just a little bit. All right. Yeah, there we go. I just want to kind of make it feel a little more balanced. Yep. So much liking that. So much so. That makes it. This one was pretty cool. Just the colors look really, really good in this. We'll warm that up some. So there's a little bit more pop in that. What do you think? Yeah, like it. Next. Previous. Maybe. Oh, for sure. I like that too. Keeping it. All right. These are going to be pretty badass. So he got a pick in his mouth? I think he does. I bet if we bring the shadows up, we can see a little more about what's going on. Look at that. Look at that. You didn't even know it was there, did you? I didn't either, to be honest with you. We're going to pull it down just a little bit. See how, man, I jacked the shadows wide open, right? Because that is right in here. That is that spot. See it? Right there. And I grabbed it here to manipulate it. And watch it here. You want the mids to come up? Look at there. It's in the exposure. Bring the mids back down. Kind of cool. You knew you could do that, did you? Ha. You're learning some stuff, man. Bacon smells good, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. So good. So good. So good. He was slaying, y'all. He was slaying. And oh, what happened here? Oh yeah, I got shadows wide open here. So we can just open that up. So we first got started. Melissa kind of opened me up to all of this music of sorts. She was the influence, my bad influence, if you will. Remember whenever I met her, funny enough, Randy Rogers, man, that is crazy. So funny enough, whenever I met her, you know, she starts telling me about all, you know, she's, we're in Georgia now. She's telling me about Red Dirt music. Like, Red what? Y'all, the only music I knew anything about listening to was whatever was on like Y106 out of Atlanta. Man, I got to get that old there. And old Rhubarb Jones. Look at there, we can tighten that up. Remember when I told you about keeping the whole thing in there? Let's bring him over there. Balance him out in the photo some. And it was just whatever was on the radio. You know, like most people now, it's just whatever is on the radio, you think that's the only music there is. And I wasn't really hip to those things a whole lot. I really kind of like red. I think I'm gonna punch it in with a little more saturation. What did he just say? More saturation? I did. Do the same thing with this one too, I hope. And one of the first bands that she had introduced me to was a Randy Rogers band. It was actually Randy Rogers, and first group of them was Randy Rogers, Jason Boland, and Cross Canadian Ragweed. This was circa 2015-ish, 14 maybe, something like that. And then so I thought she was a nutcase. I thought she was off the rails. Listen, everything I knew about musicians came from White Snake videos or Great White, once bitten, twice shy, baby. Because, that's where I got down back in the day. And I could not wrap my head around her telling me that whenever these guys would come to town, again, we lived in Georgia, whenever we'd come to town, she'd bake them cookies and she'd do all this stuff. So whatever. She was real cool. I liked her and everything. So I was willing to put up with all kinds of weird shit, I guess. I say that. And it's not weird shit, but it kind of was. It was very weird to me because I could not fathom what it was that was off here. And, man, I got room for some more highlights, but can I do that and pull them back? Pull back some of the rest of that here. Not get into the blacks. There we go. With that I can work with. I'd just like to have just a little bit less of it there. Okay. So I digress. One of the Randy Rogers at the time, I think, oh man, what was the big song at the time? It was the one where the kid's in like a rocket ship or something other. I remember that being one of the very first ones I listened to. I don't remember what it was, but you get Kiss Me in the Dark and you just get all of those classics, right? And then, this is my introduction to all this, y'all. It's just what it is weird, however weird that is. All right, I ain't gonna do Molly like that. Or like that. Or like that. Where's the good black and white one? I just don't know if there's going to be a world where I'm going to like any of this, really. And you got to understand, I know how beautiful Molly is because I got to shoot their wedding and the big ogre right there that she's married to. And, man, so one of my some of the greatest photos I have that I've taken was with her and her bridals, and I have it on the wall. I don't know that I do. I need to get that on the wall. All right, Molly, pull the highlights off a little bit. See, you don't want to flatten your skin out. Let's pull this down a little bit. And then let's tighten y'all up. Because all right. Don't be mad at me. I like it though. So I guess I'm gonna go into this whole thing then. So the name of our photography business is Crackers and Cucumbers, and at one point we got pretty serious when the year COVID hit. We had a lot of I don't know that I'm gonna like that shot. Whenever COVID hit, we had a full year booked in 2020. A lot of that was going to be the year. That was going to be our breaking year. COVID happened and God had other plans. And so he did, it did, we did, and then we didn't. And then, we never stopped doing this, but we definitely, we had a little bit different approach, I guess. This wasn't our main thing trying to do anymore. And it's just sort of how it worked out. But we still have it. We kind of quit chasing it as much, I guess. And we just focused in on our relationship with the backyard kind of after that. And not after that, I mean, maybe so, maybe a little bit after that, maybe a little bit before that, and focusing in on this, shooting for the backyard, really wanting to promote that brand, for all that they promote with us. And anyway, that's kind of where that kind of went. All right, so is he under blue lights? Maybe a little. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a lot of really blue light. Let's just find a little balance right there with it. And, we sort of pushed away from doing weddings and stuff like that. And weddings are just so hard. Golly. And they pay really, really well, but dang, they're super hard. And I think wedding photographers are just a different. You got to have a different mindset to do wedding photography. You've got to be so bought in to what you're doing, and it just takes a lot out of you. And I'll be the first to admit I like positive feedback, and I get in my feels a little bit about this because it's so subjective, and this is just how I do it. And luckily, how I do it, other people seem to enjoy it, at least locally. And I don't really push myself out probably as far as I could, but I have fun lifting other people up, and some of the biggest fun I have now is especially like whenever Melissa's shooting with me, and I love watching her, start. As long as we've been doing it, she's always learning stuff. And so it's really cool seeing that kind of happen when she picks up on, something new, and not just her, anybody, that's kind of, I like that. I like seeing people get better. Anyway, so whenever we started, Randy Rogers was one of the first things, I listened to. Jason Boland, and the Stragglers was top on my list. Cross Canadian Ragweed, which, they were broke up at the time. And she went to so she's such a big fan. She was at their last show in Chicago, and she tells these stories about some Benny the Shark, and she's just got these stories about some of these people, and we threatened to talk about them on Hello Texas a good bit, but me and Steve's Steve's job's got to not be trying to kill him, and my regular job's got to be trying not to kill me, and because that's where the stories are, is in Melissa, and she's got them. Oh my gosh, she's got them. She's probably got some Randy Rogers stories, but I remember one of the first songs that of Cross Canadian Ragweeds that got my attention was Bang Your Head, Bang My Head. So listen, I got so deep in this. Beginning of the song, it starts off, let me tell you something, cucumber. And if I remember correctly, Melissa, I think she said it was maybe Grady is the guy that actually says that. But what it is, it's a reenactment of an old Saturday Night Live Charlton Heston skit from like the early 70s or something or another. And I don't even know what the context is, but he says, "Let me tell you something, cucumber." And so they did that on the beginning of this song for Cross Canadian Ragweed in this song. And I remember at the time, I loved the song because it just hit so hard for all the crap I was going through. And that's just what I felt like I was doing, was just beating my head against the wall nonstop. And it's like, holy crap, I don't even know these people, but they get me, but she's seen it to be so much more and everything. But I sort of hung on to that because, like I said before, I thought she was maybe a little bit weird too, because I've never heard of all these people. Randy Rogers, who? Whatever. And so maybe it was a little bit odd. So I picked at her and I said, "Well, listen, cucumber." And so I just started calling her Cucumber. And it just sort of, I don't know, she's just been my cucumber ever since. And, I didn't even know I like photography at that point. I've always liked taking pictures with a phone or camera or whatever. I've always kind of liked that, but I've never really associated that with photography, right? Again, Melissa, before she met me one year for Father's Day, she bought herself a little Canon kit camera. She bought a Canon, hold on, I'll tell you. It's a Canon EOS X Rebel or something other. Anyway, just a little kit camera, $500-600. Not knowing what she didn't know and me not knowing what I didn't know, and it sat in a bag in the closet. And I was like, I want to learn how to use that. And so I'd pick it up and it'd piss me off and I'd put it down. I'd pick it up and it'd piss me off and I'd put it back down. And finally, I don't know, like most things with me, sometimes stuff just kind of clicks. And this was one of those things that just kind of clicked. And before I knew it, we had done moved to Texas and we were in Belton, and we would go down to Belton to Chef's. This is before Backyard had opened. I'm going to keep that kind of dark. Before the Backyard even opened, and it's pretty good too. Let's brighten it up some. Actually, looks really good. We'll straighten it up some. So that was before the Backyard had opened up, and and we were new to Texas, and by that point, I'd already fell in love with all things Texas music, and so I mean, we were so broke after we had moved here, and we this was pretty decent. We would drive down to Belton 30, 45 minutes, and people were like, "You driving all the way down to Belton?" We couldn't understand it, but people here, they wouldn't drive to go see a show. We were used to driving 3-4 hours. We went and seen, I'm pretty sure it was Jason Boland at Blind Horse in Greenville, South Carolina, which is about 2 hours north where it was at. And it was on a Tuesday night. And we went to go see the show after work and went back home that night and got up, went to work the next day. I don't think Texans do that really, because I mean there's a show within driving reasonable distance everywhere here. Live music it's not saying Georgia doesn't suck, Georgia sucks for live music, but Texas is definitely a mecca for a lot of live music. I don't think people really realize that too much. And Golly, these colors look good. I love that. See what it does. Never pop that in. So I don't want to lose it. Oh. All right, let's straighten it up some. Come on, where's it at down here? There we go. Update the transformation. Square that up. Puts Randy right where I thought he should be. But the so one thing led to another, and I'm down there with my little camera, and Steve comes up, and I think we'd already decided that we were going to be crackers and cucumbers. That's right, crackers and cucumbers. This is our little thing, and it's crackers, that's me, and cucumbers, that's her. It's ours, crackers and cucumbers. And you know, you got the story of the cucumber part for her, and it's my part is just because I'm white. That's all. Just I'm white. I don't know. I wish there was a better story to tell out of that, but that's the one that I'm going to tell you. So, because that's all there is to it. It's been fun as hell because I would have never thought in a million years that we'd be doing stuff like this. All right, this is one of my favorite shots. So I got permission. I got permission to get up on the stage, and that's not something that, you know, unless you're at a festival or something, it's not usually something that most people really want to let you really do. A lot of times, especially if you're not part of their crew, just liability. You know, I'm not the show, right? But they let me get this pretty fabulous shot that I'm going to try to dial in here a little bit because the Alico's in the background. I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of a Waco sort of staple thing. All right, I got one more for the Canon, and then it'll be the Sony. And that bacon I was talking about earlier is done, I think. And she's setting some stuff on the table. So I think I'm going to hit this last one right here. Just hit a previous on it. And I'm going to come down here and adjust that. Probably collapse that. And also collapse that. And I could probably get to it a little bit quicker, huh? I don't need that one open either. And let's just change the temperature just a little bit, see what happens here. Yeah, I want to keep the red. Okay, I'm kind of into that. All right. I'm liking that pretty good. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we're going to go with that. And I'm going to take a break and come back and finish up the rest of the Sony photos. It goes away. Wish I'd give you some kind of confirmation that it is going, and we're back. All right, so we just finished up. So we just finished up the Canon, which is the stuff that I shot for the Randy Rogers with Dylan Wheeler show. So now let's hit the ones that Melissa took that are picked. Excusez-moi. Pardon my rudeness. So this won't take just a second. We've got 15 of these. I know a couple things we're going to do right off the bat that I know we need to do because she was shooting. Let's see here. We don't need that no more. And which one was it? Transform. We get those parts set. Oh, dee-dee-dee. Right here we go. And then we get that to original. So now we're all set there. We'll go back over to the adjustments panel. And so we got all that right there. We just pick all those. We get all that part for right now. Get everything on the same playing field. We come back to here. Probably going to do it again. Alto. Man, it's just a good place to start. But, you know, we ain't going to keep it. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Oh, I see. The shadows are wide open right here, so we can bring up some highlights. Tell you, man, look, see what happens to it? It just gets so flat, you know? And look, we're still not peaking, not like peaking. So whenever when it peaks, it starts clipping. The moment that little red right here, whenever that happens, the minute that starts, it is clipping. Clip. So you got a lot of room to play there. There's a lot of information over here. But the scary part is all the information is in the blacks and the shadows. So that's why we got so much to work with there. But I don't know that we need all that really. I think it's fine because this is what we're looking for. Just to show. Come on. And we can probably cool that down a little bit. Look at that. I dig it. I dig it, man. Let's see what the next one does. Previous, how we like that. I'm going to turn off the little thing right there. I'm not mad at that either. All right. Let's just hit all of them. Let's hit all the rest of these like that and see what it does. And then sync them, synchronize. Oh, it probably brightened most of them up, didn't it? Well, that's all right too. Let's see, let's pull it all down right here. Yeah, it's going to be. All right, so she shoots this is a Sony A7S II. Like I said, it's older equipment, but it still does some amazing stuff. The cool thing about it is it's a full frame camera. The sensor on it is only 12 megapixels. So each little thing on there is really, really big. So it has a lot of space to catch room and just makes it just an incredible camera. And so you get a lot of ability to do things with it as a result of that, you know, and just look at that. You would have thought from that shot, I do want to warm that up though, having seen that. You would have thought that it just wasn't going to be good. And you would have thought wrong. I would have too. It looks really good. And same thing here. We'll just hit the previous, pull all that down. Oh, look, we got it back. Let's straighten it back up. Oh man, that's kind of cool. That makes me happy. Don't always see it go that way. Straighten it up. Oh yeah. Yeah. Cool it back down. No, let's keep it warm. I like it. Move it. How about this one? What's it going to do? A lot of cool lights there. I like that too. Man, that's another one. Well, we could actually bring that up. All right, here's why I won't use this photo right here. See how disinterested all these people are? Promise you he's on a phone. Rude. I don't know, man. You're there. Put your stinking phone away. I get it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just, some days I got the get off my lawn mentality. Oh, that is really underexposed. I kind of like it. Look at that. Let's punch that in just a little bit. Just get him from his knees. I like that right there. Can I bring down the top some? Let's close in some of that. A lot of extra head space in it. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna roll with you, baby. I kind of like that too. Can we straighten it up though? Tim, straighten it up. Why is it gotta be so crooked all the time? Are you better? There's no need for excitement, people. That looks really good. I think this is gonna be a hot photo right here. I think that's this one and this one both. I think I love how warm those are. I mean, man, I like it. Yeah, I like putting the white in that too. Very much so. I want to update. Yeah. I like it. I like how warm it is. What happens with this? See if that needs to warm up some. It does. Is that too warm? No, let's make that light white. I like that. What's even cooler is whenever you look at that and you see, yeah. Kind of like it. I dig that. That's neat. Hoopty lights. We're going to cool him down some. Oh, I got to quit shaking my leg. Y'all want to... Tim, why do you sound so shaky? Why are you so shaky? I wasn't, y'all. I was just... I was goofing around. Come on. Hit that R. Aura. See if we can't center up Randy in the stage here. Why don't we just bring the whole stage up? Because I don't know that I'm going to be able to get anything out of the rest of it. So we'll just make that just a nice stage shot. Is there anything in the shadows? Let's pick these shadows up. We get a little bit right there. Can I pick anything up in some highlights? How about... Oh, there's the highlights. My bad. My bad. Still the whites. I can pull the whites down. Holy crap, look at that. Pull the whites almost all the way down. I'm going to leave a little bit of whites. I'm going to leave the highlights up. Exposures in the mids. This should be shadows. And this should be blacks. And that's what we're going to go with, boys and girls. I think that looks pretty dang good. Ooh. You know, again, one would think that is completely blown out. But golly, here comes that Sony again. To just, that's a really, really cool looking shot. It's still underexposed because, you know, you don't really have anything anywhere else, but you can't deny the shot, can you? You can't. You could, but you're not. Or you may. So what if you do? Excusez-moi. There's the one we're looking for. Right there. I don't want to get too far. I don't want to have too much dead space up here at the top. And I'm sort of gauging that kind of by this space here to there. You know, where can I balance it? Because I really can't move it anywhere. But I want to get a, you know, sort of a healthy balance in the shot. So I think this works out good. I think this keeps the show in the middle, you know, and look, the angle should be moving us in. And I think it balances well right there with the dark and the dark here. And so overall, I am genuinely pretty okay with this. I would like to bring that up some, maybe take those down more. You notice I'm up here working in a histogram instead of down on the thing. You just got to click in it and drag. That's all you got to do if you want to work in that. You can still work your sliders however you want. A lot of people don't know that, but you can. So this is Sony. You can kind of punch the Sony up a little bit with some saturation, not getting a lot of trouble. You know, it's probably good if you don't know what's, you know, which part of the colors that the saturation, the vibrance works in. You know, it'd be pretty good. If I remember correctly, vibrance works in the shadows and the highlights of the colors, of the individual colors in the RGB range. And then saturation works in the blacks and the whites, I believe. Part of that kind of works in how that goes. So there we are. I am going to go back over here. We'll see all the picks. Now we should be able to go here, filter out for just the ones we have here. Let's run through them. Let's see what we got. You know, you probably notice there's not, you know, if you watch the other video, you know, there's a lot of crowd work. This one really wasn't a lot of crowd work. Just you know, it just sometimes crowd work is mainly dependent upon how the vibe of how everything feels. You know, the people that are there. I'm not, you know, not saying the people weren't vibing, but they sort of weren't really vibing. I mean, I don't know another way to put it. You know, and I this was just one of those shows. It was a great freaking show. I just the crowd that was there. I don't know if it was just because maybe there's a little bit of an older crowd sometimes that comes with Randy Rogers. I did a little bit of crowd work somewhere in this. You'll probably see with some of the video stuff. It's probably a bit more video crowd work that I did with this. I just got to get started on that. Man, those are fire. I'll just say that. That's awesome. The drummer here is good. I like him. A lot of activity going on there. Galen Wheeler. Punk ass kid. I'm just kidding, man. It's broke ass kid. But we didn't do a whole lot of crowd work here. You know, I mentioned in somewhere else earlier that, you know, just the people just weren't quite as many people, and you know, and they weren't really vibing with it. Man, I mentioned, all right, so the very thing that I mentioned earlier, and I was talking about, you know, with the guitar. See right here how I've got him cut off? I was trying to think of and I actually said the guy's name was Austin Gillum. And it is not Austin Gillum either. Austin Gillum is an Austin artist. Isn't he an Austin? I got that right? Is he Strawberry Lemonade? Man, okay. I think he is. I'm going to click off to the side over here, and I'm going to look and see. I think Austin Gillum. Austin Gillum. Yes. Okay, so Austin Gillum is the guy for Strawberry Lemonade. Man, you know what? I talked about the Hoosier Brothers earlier. Right there, man. If Hoosier Brothers had an album of more of the stuff, kind of like Lay You Down, they would be in the same realm here with Austin Gillum, Strawberry Lemonade. Is it the Teskey Brothers? Wait, Teddy Swims. Anyway, I digress. I wish I could think of what the other guy's name was. Austin. I think it was Austin. Austin something. Was on American Idol, I think. I know I completely went off the rails here. No, Austin Madison? That wasn't it. That wasn't him either. Austin Wolf, Austin Michael. What was that guy's name? I just don't remember. Anyway, the picture wasn't even of him. It was of JD, and that's all that matters. I'm back over here on this screen now. I think these right here just turned out super fabulous of this guy. I wonder what happens if he was to just darken this just a little bit. You know, just a little bit. I'm curious. Have I got room to? I most certainly do. Come on, load up. There we go. Let's pull him down some more. Man, I kind of don't want to do that. Can I do it in the blacks? I don't want to do that either. No, we'll just keep it just like it is, kids. This ain't the time. We're trying to get these delivered, all right? I'm late on these two. I am. I don't want to be late. on anything. I'm glad I'm going back looking through these because I'm not super crazy about that one. You could. Now I feel better about it. Same thing here. Warm that up. Now I feel better about that one. Yeah, these look good. The lights are really, really good. This is one of the ones I really, really like. I like the reds in that. Same thing here. Just in love with that. I wouldn't mind crushing some of these blacks and some of these shadows down just a little bit. Maybe pull. I'm good with that. It's very, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. It's nice. It gets me excited. It makes me very, very excited. Makes me very excited. Oh, why you do that? That looks so good. Wait, no. Oh. Bag it up. Bag it up there, cowboy. Sorry. It'd be like that sometimes, though. Yeah. Very much okay. Here's our Miss Molly. And unplug her. That pretty smile for Miss Molly. Next. Nice little crowd shot. I'm okay with that. Looks good. That is clean. I think that one, you know, we'll see. All right. Much better like that. That is super cool. Can we pull this back just a smidge? Yeah. Can it be warmer? Oh, we start getting some weird shit whenever we do, though, don't we? I mean, I got him right there. Can I pull him down some right there? Yeah, buddy. Yes, I'm very much excited. Yeah, that's a cool shot, too. Really nice with the red. Another nice one in the red. Wow. So good. I like all that. Good job. I remember that one. I know I'm not giving them time really to load. I like it. It's good. This one right here. Here's his pick. Right there. Probably. Look at that. I like that. That looks real good. It makes me happy. It makes me so happy. I mean, I've talked about chasing the lights, and so look here, you see that stage is lit up well. You see that the lights that are going, man, he's got a lot of the natural lights shining down. Then you got the accent lights. Now watch this. They're dimmer blue lights, and you're not shining right at you or where they are. Same, they're just kind of on the back. It's just, you're chasing that all the time. All the time. All the time. This guy knows what I'm talking about. Look at him. He can't see himself. He's the guy we need to see. Showing up, that's pretty. To me, that's just pretty. I think it's pretty. This is right here. I have tried for this shot a very, very long time. And most of the time, the lights just aren't good enough for it. Randy will hide under that hat. Won't you, Randy? I know you will. It's okay. I ain't hating on you for it. But if you've ever shot Randy, you know that. Super entertaining. It's always a great show. And there they are, people. That's the gist of it. So, well, this was now we just got to get rid of them. And let's see. So this is Randy Rogers Band with Dylan Wheeler backyard. Dun, dun, dun. So this is how everything pretty much goes out. I used to watermark. It's just almost is, man, people gonna crop it or whatever. So I don't even worry about it no more. I shoot for the backyard. I'm pretty confident about who I shoot for, and I'm pretty confident about all the stuff, so I don't, I've got some, but these are, it's, oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Nope. I had to remember what I was doing. All right, here we go. Pictures. We're in 2025. We haven't done a whole lot this year at the backyard. Chasing bowling. Look at there. It's like this guy just shows up anywhere. So this is Randy Rogers Band with Dylan Wheeler backyard. And then we'll just open that up, dude, there, and let it do its thing. And that's pretty much it. I appreciate it if you was able to stick around through all this and listen to me say oh, Alsop. That's who I was trying to think of. Is it Austin Alsop or something like that? Anyway, thank you very much. Till next time. Bye.